I am the president, the executive director, and the founder of the National Children's Book and Literacy Alliance. The reason I began the NCBLA was as a new author and illustrator. I was going out into schools and I was seeing the opportunities that I had as a young person growing up in Cleveland, that a lot of kids in this country didn't have those opportunities. And those opportunities were, number one, I was taught to read very early and very well. And I was taught through a multitude of ways of being taught how to read, not just phonics, but word identification, just about anything. And I was not just taught by my teachers in a classroom, I was taught by my family at home. My family had been immigrants. All four of my grandparents had come over here from Ireland and Scotland and didn't even have 8th grade educations. And yet they came here, and I was the first grandchild on both sides of the family. And one of the things that they taught me right away when I was 4 years old was to read, because education was such an important thing to them. So I had that reinforcement at home, and not just with my parents, but with grandparents who were also raising me. And then the other thing was I grew up in a city that had a terrific library system. And the other thing that I was given by my home and by my school was you had to have a library card. And I went to the West Park branch of the Cleveland Public Library where Miss Masarchik was there, one of my heroes. And she taught me to value books. We had to actually wrap our books up in newspapers before we left. And I had a library card and could go to the library anytime. And then I had a library in my school. And I also had parents who did not always have money all the time, but for birthdays, instead of being given, our 17th Barbie doll, actually we had one Barbie doll, we were given books, so that, and in fact, we were given books that I now call Now and Later books, and we have carried on that tradition with our own kids, so that at our house at a birthday and at Christmas, our kids were given a book that they could read now that was age appropriate for them at the time, and then a book that they could grow into, so that not only did they have a book, a library for right now in their lives, there were books constantly that their library was expanding and growing into, all kinds of books. And I found these books at book sales. We didn't have a huge budget, so I would go to book sales. I would do book trades with other parents in the neighborhood. I would get paperback books. I joined a book club that had cheaper versions, more inexpensive editions of books. And I found with my own kids that they were practically, they're not any bright geniuses, they're just normal kids, but because they were read to from the day they were born, I brought baby board books to the hospital, what a surprise, and read Mother Goose out loud and everything, so they were raised in a language-rich environment. And so all these things were going on for me as a child, and my 7 younger brothers and sisters, and also for my own family.